Alright, so as of this recording, I have literally just got done watching this episode of The Walking Dead. And come on, man. That's my literal reaction is come on. What are you doing? Stop. Stop. Ugh. Alright, so let's get into I guess, the actual review. So they're trying to move on from Beth's death, and so they go to Richmond because that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to bring him back to Richmond to his home, and maybe because of their walls, that maybe it's um, safe. But we all knew that it was not going to be safe. I doubt there were anybody that thought it was going to be safe because this is The Walking Dead. And by season 5, you should know that it's not going to be safe, and it wasn't. It got overrun, and it honestly seemed like there were people who destroyed the gates, which ultimately led to it being overrun, which goes back to the fact that humans are more dangerous than the actual walkers, which is kind of true on some level, because you could see like there was a lot of like damage done that could not have been done by walkers to like the walls and the gates, and so it's pretty obvious that's why. Um, I think that's why Glenn finally said, it really didn't matter if it was you, me, or Daryl who had killed Dawn. Because I think part of what he was getting at was that there was, it was a human who killed another human. I think. At least that's what I think he was getting at. But, as for other things, Noah being, crying a lot and whatever, and Tyrese being Tyrese until the end, of course. And then now, like, before all this goes down, the batshit stuff at the end, Rick decides that they should go to Washington, which seemed like an appropriate destination to begin with, where Michonne's like, he did the math, and that has the best probability. Um, it's not math, it's common sense that Washington, D.C. would have the best chance of being the safest, okay? That's where security has to be the tightest because you guard the president of the United States and Congress and the Supreme Court justice Supreme Court judges, I guess you could say. But you know, so Rick decides it, and then it all goes down. Tyrese got bit on his arm. It's still not dead yet because you could cut off his arm, which they do, but it's too late. He lost too much blood. It seemed that's what it seemed likely to me because you could just see like how much blood he lost, and I'm like, even if they cut his arm off, it's just gonna increase how much blood he loses, and he's just gonna die from that, honestly. And what I really did like though was the hallucinations he was having, and we got to see a lot of the past characters that he knew. Um, Obviously, most notably being the governor and Beth, and I really thought it was. I was kind of surprised when I saw the governor, and it was really cool because he played a really integral part in messing with his head, really. But he he was obsessed with the earning the keep thing. He was like, dude, get over it. He tried and you failed, so fuck you. And Beth, they had to have her in it because she was such an important part, not really to the crew, but she became important by the end, ironically. Um, it is funny though, because she never really had any real importance to the crew until she went out on her own with Daryl, and then she started to develop her own character, and then she dies when she gets back to the crew. So, okay. We saw the kids, we saw the dude that, you know, whatever, that one dude that wanted to kill Judith or whatever, and we saw Bob, of course. Um, Bob is pretty cool in this episode. And, um, like, if we ever saw hallucinations from Rick, like that, we again, I guess you could say, we would have seen like Shane and like Jim and Merle and obviously what the fuck her name was, his wife. All of a sudden, I can't remember her name, which is fine because you know she's she was horrible and she sucked. And oh, and Andrea would be there too. But I guess I'm getting off topic. So I mean, to the actual death itself, it was shit. I'm sorry. I mean, it was done well, but it's the fact that you're losing Tyrese. It's like, okay, Noah joined, another black guy joined, so the previous one has to die off. Why is that such a thing? Now, luckily, Bob died before Tyrese, so that tradition was kind of twisted a little bit. But it's like, why can we not just have two black guys at the same time? Like, for more than like 5 episodes or whatever. Like seriously, like Tyrese was the best black guy we've had on the crew so far. T Dog was cool, but I'm sorry, Tyrese was the best. And the fact that he's dead now is like to leave us with this pussy-footed Noah who runs all the time like he's running from the cops and is just whatever. He was responsible partly for, getting Carol captured. Although, her getting hit had nothing to do with him, but it was like the setting and everything like that. It was stupid. Um, I'm not a big fan of Noah yet. I mean, he was fine when he was, in the hospital with Beth, but then all of a sudden he just becomes like this retarded kid or whatever. I don't know. I don't care about him right now. Tyrese was the best, and the fact that he's dead is just stupid because they're making the same mistakes that Akamega Kiru makes. They kill off the better characters, and so you're left with not better characters. So unfortunately, I mean, we still have Daryl, we still have Carol, and we still have Rick, and those three are great. So as long as any of those three don't die, I mean, we're fine. But whatever. Maggie's okay. Sasha, why the fuck is Sasha still alive? She sucks. I'm sorry, she sucks. She has no reason to be alive. But yet, her brother is killed and Bob is killed. Like, just get her out of here. Glenn's still alive. Glenn is fine. I mean, whatever. He's he's not great, but he's not bad. I mean, he's fine, I guess. Um, and I'm guessing the priest guy is joining them. I don't know. He somehow found them. I don't know how. I don't remember him. Yeah, because he was off and he found Garrett or that place with the hunters, the Hunter X Hunters. No, so he found them apparently. Maybe he's joining. So that means either him or Noah will die next. I kind of hope they both die so that a cooler black dude can come up. So, um, I mean that's basically it. I mean who else is left? We have Tara, who's cool. I like Tara, and Abrams is fine. Eugene sucks, and now he sucks even worse now that we know he's a fake. Um, I don't know. There's some others, but regardless, that's about it. So, Walking Dead episode 9 from season 5. Eh, I mean, it was good up until the end, and then it's like you just kill him off. So I'm gonna give it an okay, I guess. I guess I'll just say okay chapter, or okay episode rather. Okay, guys, so now we're going to head into other media, and for this we have a special guest, as I said before.
ArmorZeroX. Say hello to the fans.
Or don't. That's okay.
Oh, hello. Who's ArmorZeroX?
You.
Oh, right. Sorry. Sometimes you forget who you are. Hello, people. My name is AZX, as you heard, and it is an honor to guest speak. Not guest speak, but be a guest at this wonderful podcast hosted by Fidel or Pensage or whatever the fuck his name is.
Or Shinzex or whatever the hell
And-
else I used to say.
And my personal favorite, Italian pastry.
I am not Italian pastry. How many times? You still haven't got. Alright, whatever.
So tonight will be a wonderful threesome where we talk about what we'll be talking about, Fidel.
We'll be talking about other media, basically what we've been watching or
Well,
reading or shit in the past week.
I've been watching you, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
I'm looking behind me right now.
I can see you. I can see you through that picture on Skype.
Oh, that's good.
Ooh. And let me just say, it's making me a little excited there.
I can tell from your picture.
No,
on Skype.
yo, Italian pastry. No one's fucking talking to you, okay?
Oh, hold on. Remember, your picture is a picture of Sonic that looks like he's about to finger himself.
Listen, let me tell you something about Sonic. I would let him finger me any day. All right,
Yeah, but if he'd probably do it so fast, he would rip you a new one.
dude.
And then rip
if
that
it's,
new one
listen,
for another
if
new
it's,
one.
If it's Sonic, I don't give a shit. Once his hand
But you
touches
don't
me,
care that he would do it so fast that he'd rip your dick off and give you a
well,
vagina.
I don't think he would stick his finger in my dick. He would stick it in my ass. You know, so
and then
I mean,
rip you in half, like a friggin' I don't know, dark, like in a friggin' horror game.
hey, why not? Right? It might feel good, huh? Anyway,
So,
Are you eating something?
no one's eating anything. Maybe you're eating yourself.
You sound like you're eating something.
If I was eating something, you would hear me chewing. Right? And
Well,
I'm not chewing, am I? I mean, maybe you're chewing your ass. That's what you're hearing, you know.
I just heard chewing.
Italian pastry. Sometimes you just gotta know when to stop. And that's one of these moments.
Pastry, how come you're the one who's always eating?
You know what? I'm not even that fat. Okay, I may have a gut, but that's because it's Italian pregnant though. Sometimes you just can't control that. Therefore, shut the fuck up and let's continue this podcast.
Alright,
okay,
well,
so who should go first here?
you should so that way he knows what he's supposed to do.
What time is it? 1:42. Okay. So, I guess for me, I didn't really do much this week because I've had a lot of assignments to get done. But I played through another Dark Souls, just the first one, another run where I used the scimitar only for weapons. Actually, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it was pretty fun. More Ultra Street Fighter, of course. And that's it for games. In terms of anime, I've been continuing my Hunter x Hunter rewatch. Obviously, keeping up with the usual is JoJo Kuroko no Basket. As those of you who have watched the anime section know, let's see. Obviously, Walking Dead is back. I won't say
Well,
anything.
I haven't caught up on that yet, but
I won't say anything.
the fuck is that?
Okay, Goldenrod.
Yo, pastry. Turn that shit off, man.
Not me.
It is you.
It's Pensage.
Well, then who is it?
Said Pensage.
It ain't me.
That's you.
The fuck?
Sorry.
Okay.
That scared the shit out of me, man.
Okay, so Goldenrod City, apparently.
You're lucky I wasn't taking a piss. It would have shot sideways.
So, I guess that's
Anyway.
honestly about it. Because I didn't really do much in terms of reading. I didn't do much.
Dude, I swear to God, shut it the fuck off. Because it's blowing my eardrum out.
So,
No.
I mean, in terms of writing, I guess I could say I wrote a little bit of Iron. I'm almost done that chapter, but I had to do a lot of assignments, so it kind of took a backseat. I had to do a personal essay, and I had to write a speech. Slam generally.
Fuck is that shit?
Come on and slam. Okay. So that's it. That's it for me.
Let's see. This week I was continuing my rewatch of Part 3 of Dragon Ball Z, and in terms of video games, like I said, not really much change. I'm still doing my One Piece Omega Ruby run, and the other thing is I started watching. I got in the mood to play one particular game, but unfortunately, my current copy I have, it doesn't work. So to try and fill the need, I've been watching a walkthrough of it, and that is the GameCube game Yu-Gi-Oh! Falsebound Kingdom,
Mm.
and it's honestly it's in my top 3 favorite GameCube games. Probably right. It would probably be no. I'd probably put it number 2 behind Fire Emblem Path of Radiance.
Right.
And then in terms of movies, there was a couple movies here and there, that I was watching, and I was watching. But the two most notable rewatches was I rewatched One Piece film Z, which is amazing, and the Disney Pixar film Incredibles. It's also a very good movie, and I'm so glad that they are going to make another one. So, and see what else. I've also was able to get some writing done, and you guys can look forward to the next chapter release on Sunday.
You guys being me.
Well,
So
there's a couple
here's a
of
question. Here's a question. What is our following rate
What do you mean our following rate?
for the podcast? Because we have to establish an atmosphere of more than just 3 people.
We actually don't get too bad. Like for now, our anime gets the most views at 9 to 11, I guess, at average. Which is
Yeah, but how do you know it's the views? I mean, YouTube, you could just keep clicking the video and get more views.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but it comes pretty quickly. So I don't random people clicking 9 times doesn't seem likely.
You'd be surprised. I mean, maybe it's you or a pastry boy over here.
I don't.
Why would
usually.
I do that?
I got a way to advertise, right? You take pastry's tits, right? Italian pastry's tits, and you make them into cannolis, and then hand them out individually. I think that would bring a nice fan base.
I was contemplating making a sign and then putting it on all 4 of our chests as we walk around the con, saying "Join Mystic Podcast" or something like that.
You know what?
We need
AZX
to do something. We need to do something with our scapegoat, okay? Our pinata, our ragdoll. That's Italian pastry.
No, I thought a ragdoll was Link.
Nah, he's not here. We're talking about you, okay? You take his place when he's not here.
What are you
Okay,
talking
so we need
about?
to do something. So maybe for every person who joins the podcast, or rather becomes a viewer or follower, you get to twist Italian pastry's tits.
What?
I think I would do it personally.
How about this? How about this? For every person who joins the forum or follows the podcast, we'll cut one hair strand off of your head.
I'm
AZX.
shaving my head. I thought we discussed this the last time I was.
No, we're talking about but your shaving
You can shave
is
my
a crew cut.
You want to do that?
What I'm talking about is complete bald.
No, I'm going to shave my head. Okay, I told you before I go to the academy, shave my head. What I'm saying.
How about this? Every person who joins will get a special pick from you. And when I mean special pick, I mean private pick.
here's what I have to say. You always wanted big balls. So for everyone
No,
who wants
no,
to
no,
join,
no.
listen, let me finish. Let me finish, you fucking pastry. So you always wanted big balls. So for anyone who wants to follow the podcast, they get to kick you in the nuts, and your balls swell up. Thus, they're bigger.
Really? Look who's talking. Alright, AZX. You're the one. You're the one who wants them. I mean, you always tell me how you want Pent Sage's balls.
I don't need balls. I mean, I don't want kids. Whatever. You, on the other hand, I know you want gigantic balls, and coming from someone who has Asian balls, Asian
I do
testicles.
not have Asian balls, and neither do you.
I don't listen. My balls are off topic. That has nothing to do. We're talking about your balls, whatever you name them.
Hold on, we're forgetting the most important part.
What's your
Hold
one?
on.
What's your one ball? Luffy, and your other's what? The fucking Sanji.
No. All right.
Does Luffy stretch? Is that his ability? Your ball,
Well, what is your problem? I mean, Mister, I'm losing all my hair.
and I'm gonna shave my head as that's an alternative, But I'm not, We'll do that before I get to the academy. Right now, I have a few months.
Yeah, and then you're gonna throw a big funeral party for your hair?
That sounds like a good idea. It gives me a way to get cannolis. Oh, cannolis, man! It just makes me explode every time I think about them. It's so good.
Then how come you haven't eaten the cannoli that's right behind you?
Yeah, because there's a fucking cannoli right behind me. And I'm just gonna,
Really? I left one there for you.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. And just magically pull one out of my ass.
What? Just like that probe that Seth Rogen did in the interview?
Yes, that's right.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We were watching that today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, me and AZX were watching the interview on Netflix.
Was it any good?
The opening was the best. The opening was the best part. That's my opinion. The first 10 minutes.
Overall, it was a very funny movie. But
overall, it was a funny movie. Like I said, the opening was the best. Eminem was in it, and holy shit!
Oh god.
Oh yeah.
Because James Franco was interviewing Eminem, but there was something that happened where he admitted something, and he just kept talking like nothing. No one heard what he said, and everyone was like,
it wasn't something small either. It was just like
everyone was like, "Oh,
did he just fucking say that? Did he just fucking say that?" Like they were asking him to explain his lyrics, and he says, "Oh well, or no, it was a question. Like they made up some song lyrics that was supposedly offensive to a certain group." And then he was explaining, "Oh well, I say this because maybe I had some issues like this one means this one this one means that." And then he says the third thing. Another example was like, "Oh, I have these type of lyrics that might seem offensive to this group, but actually this is the reason." And then he says something that like freaks everyone out, but then he just continues.
But he keeps talking as if nothing ever happened, like what he said, and then Franco's like, "What?"
Everyone's like just like what. And they literally have to ask him to go back and clarify what he meant.
Yeah, but he's so natural about it. That's what it's so funny. Like, doesn't he just explaining in his? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the opening scene with Eminem. But I mean, the whole movie was fun overall, funny, but there was a lot of like weird scenes, and we can now after seeing it, I can say why they say it was so offensive. And why it created the controversy it did.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and then another thing that I did forget to mention about the games was when I was sitting there, me and AZX were playing some Marvel vs. Capcom 2 today, and then afterwards, AZX tried to explain to me. He showed me. He also had the Legend of Korra that game that came out in the fall.
Yeah, by Platinum. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he said, he was explaining to me how super hard this level was, and I was like, so after about like 2 or 3 tries because of this particular boss, and then after like 2 or 3 tries, I beat the boss, and then he just sat there. We sat there for like an hour and a half watching me play through the game, and being better than him, and he had it for months.
That just gives him a reason to brag. Honestly, I kept telling him to play the game because I was tired as a nutsack, and I found it as an opportunity to just lay down on my comfortable recliner chair.
Well, no.
And
you wanted me to
constantly,
beat it.
Hey,
you wanted
hey,
no.
Hey,
you wanted me to play through it. No,
shut up. Constantly, he was where I was sitting, he was blocking the right side of my TV. So I had to constantly remind him, yo, Italian pastry, move the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, well, whatever. All right, you wanted me to beat the game so that way you
Dude,
could go back,
I literally
play the
had a
early
front.
levels,
I
and then
literally
have her
had
go
a.
into the avatar state and just beat
I
the shit out of the level.
literally had a front row seat to your left ass cheek.
And you loved it.
No, I didn't. Okay,
Yes,
it
you
was
did.
so fucking big. It was scaring me.
Hey! Remember, you like big butts and you cannot lie.
Listen, that's the worst fucking reference I ever heard of. All right, I never
No,
heard
no, no,
of
no. The worst fucking reference ever is your ass cheeks.
What? All right, let's get back on topic. This guy's starting to lose his fucking
What?
mind.
This is other media. It's everything.
Okay, well, we're just talking about ass cheeks. What the fuck?
That's another form of media, isn't it?
I guess.
See? Strider agrees with me.
Fidel, move on before just. You know what?
Well,
Fuck
all right,
you.
well,
You know what? You know what? You know what? You know what? Pastry, you're fired. Fuck out of here.
I'm not fired. You can't fire me.
Damn right I can.
No, you can't.
Yeah. Move on, please, before I bury this fucking guy. All right, move on.
Let's see. Is there anything else that you have played or watched or read this week, or anything else covered in other media?
Well, I mean, I've been watching Bleach. I got to get back into it. I started watching. Told you, I started watching Saved by the Bell again. That show was so good, except for annoying ass Screech, who every single episode I wanted to put in a meat blender, and oh god, that guy. But watching that, I'm gonna get back into Bleach eventually. Now, I don't know. Saved by the Bell was great.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that.
It's all on Netflix, man.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
All on Netflix. Let's use Pastry's account. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I swear, there's like 15 people who use your account. I
No,
mean,
it's not
if you would
15.
take money from everybody, from every single person, you wouldn't have to pay shit.
It's only like $7 a month. Or
Yeah,
$8
so take $1 from everybody. Take $1 from everybody who uses your account.
Really? And then, when are you gonna give me all the money you owe me?
When is Fidel going to give you all the money he owes you? That's what I thought. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but he's a better friend than you are.
That's fucked up. You know.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding you. I just wanted to get a reaction out of you.
Well, you got one, motherfucker.
Stop. You gotta relax, dude. You can't take things so seriously.
25, man. 25.
No. Nothing's gonna happen. You're just gonna turn 25 and then just move on with your life.
I'm going to turn 25. I'm going to be laying on that ground with a cannoli in my mouth and a cup of coffee burning through my stomach.
And then you're gonna pick yourself up and continue on with your life. You're
No,
not.
that'll be the end.
No
I
one
want to
won't
die
yet.
with a cup of coffee in my hand
And a cannoli in your mouth.
and a cannoli in my mouth. And I'm talking about cannoli, no brajul, all right?
No, the brajul's going in your ass.
Back to the ass. You know, if you really want your ass to be ripped open a new one,
No.
then fucking hire somebody, all right? I can find a bunch of guys who want to be willing to shove a stick up there or something, you know? Listen, I can get someone to sodomize you if that's what you're looking for.
No.
All
That's
right,
what
I could
you
find.
look
We could get Link if for all we know. You know? I'm sure you'd be happy to do it. You and Link, you're one hell of a couple.
No, we are not.
I mean,
If anybody's a good couple, is you and Zero.
listen,
Strider.
whatever the fuck his name is, but you know, Link is giving blood today. I'm thinking, you know, when they got needle goes in them, it's gonna be your needle, you know.
Yeah, right. And
I think you're gonna take some of his blood.
And you're the king of the moon.
I'm the king of the moon.
You're not the king of the moon.
You said I'm the king of the moon. What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
It doesn't have anything to do with anything. Just like the previous comment about my dick being a needle to remove blood.
Oh God, look.
So is there anything else that we have to talk about in terms of other media?
Yeah, we're getting off topic.
So are we talking about the news too?
Well, yeah, I mean,
If you want.
yeah.
What's hot on the news right now?
The whole thing with uh, the unified effort of many nations to try and send in troops to take down the ISIS forces.
Yeah.
Well, the president even, went on TV yesterday, I think around like 3:30 or so, and to talk about it and how he plans on trying to get some type of approval through the Senate and Congress to take further action. And this approval plan also opens up. That's kind of like open ended, so that way, if say it comes to the point where they have to send in a large amount of ground troops, he can just do it with ease since he's
Right.
uh,
Yeah.
which
I mean, he can do that with Marines, but you can't do that with like Army or anything
well, I
else.
mean, a lot of because, but at the same time, he's also saying that all the airstrikes that they've been doing recently has supposedly started to drop morale in the ISIS troops. So one side there, so it could still go either way. They could lose hope and break up, or it might be an all-out war against their people or against ISIS. And supposedly they're estimating their numbers at around 200,000 soldiers for ISIS
Which is a lot. I mean, if
for a small militant group.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if history shows anything, like obviously like a bombing attack or anything like that has obviously gone both ways where, the bombing on Pearl Harbor obviously led to Japan getting fucked in the asshole, but obviously atomic bombs destroyed their morale completely. So it's like it really depends on the scale of of like a strike, what they
See,
do.
that's the thing, but yeah. See, the problem is that ISIS incorporates themselves into the innocent people. So it's not like they're all concentrated in one area. Like they're spread out in the Middle East, and they can't just go nuking places where there's a high concentration of ISIS soldiers because there are also a lot of non-ISIS related civilians.
Hmm.
So they can't just go in there and do that.
Well, that was a problem. That was a philosophical problem when I had that in class in college. They got hints about where Osama bin Laden was located,
Hmm.
but they found that there was a high amount of citizens there that were surrounding the area as well. But because of one man, was it worth it to bomb that fucking area because
So,
there were innocent people there too?
which then, some people might say, turn that around, well, if that's the case and you don't want to bomb innocent people, why did we bomb the two cities we did, Japanese cities in World War II? Well, the reason is because during that time, just like every other country, they were pulling every able-bodied person, man, woman, and child,
Hmm.
fight. And if they did not drop the nuclear bombs, the two nukes in Japan during World War II, they would have forced a all-out war on their land, where all of the Allied forces would be sending in troops from all directions into Japan, and they'd basically be fighting until they got to the center of Japan. They would have had to. There would have been massive losses on both sides, but
Oh yeah.
because they would have never backed down.
Well yeah,
But the
Japan would have
fact,
lost more people like
well, yeah,
by
because
boots to the
there would have been
ground, yeah.
well, no, both the Allies and Japan would lose a lot.
Oh yeah,
Now
obviously.
Japan would lose more because they would also at that point, like I said, that's when they would pull out the friggin' they put guns in the women and all the children's hands and the men too. Like they would all have guns in their hands and they'd be firing at the people, at the soldiers. But then the Allied forces as a whole wouldn't lose as much. But you have to also remember that those losses would be spread amongst the countries because it would basically because as we all know how Japan looks, you'd have that they would basically the Allied forces would have surrounded them and then basically work their way, inward from because they had more than enough countries to and more than enough soldiers to completely surround the border of Japan
Hmm.
and just work their way in.
Yeah, it would in the long run it would have been worse not only for the U.S. because they would have lost a lot of soldiers, but it would have
It
been
would have
worse
been
for
everyone
Japan.
because you would have had Russia, you would have had China, you would have had France, you would have had all the Allied forces would have been sending forces over for this effort.
Oh, forget
And
them. It's not so much about that. It's more about Japan would have lost way more soldiers because
and
they would have
and
destroyed many different cities. Instead, they only sacrificed two and destroyed what like 500,000 people, which is a lot, but at the same
as
time,
opposed to instead of they sacrificed 500,000 people to end the war, as opposed to sacrificing millions on both sides.
yeah.
Because I mean, millions for Japan, maybe a couple 100,000 for the Allied forces.
Hmm.
Because as we also know, they would have been Japan would have been due to the Allied forces surrounding Japan. They would have had no way to get outside. You know, they would have been cutting off supply lines with ease, and they would have either all just sacrificed themselves to try and get as many forces, kill as many enemy forces as possible, or they would have just all starved to death eventually. It
Yeah.
would have been a massacre.
Oh, yeah, Japan
That would have
screwed themselves because one, their neighbor China. I mean, they had just got done with a war with them. They lost that war against China, where China overtook them and forced them out of them because they tried to invade China at the same time as they were trying to fight the World War II, and
that was the whole part of World War II. But remember,
U.S. did island hopping and basically cut off the other way, so they had nothing.
they would have been surrounded because, like I said, you
Yeah.
had you had France, you had England, you had Italy. Eventually, you would have had China, you had U.S. and friggin' Russia, all like surrounding friggin' Japan
Hmm.
with nowhere to go.
But yeah, I guess that's a little off topic, but
I mean, that's kind of the whole relation is
yeah,
we're comparing that situation to this situation. How it's different because we're not just going to sacrifice many innocent civilians and hope that we hit enough ISIS soldiers to cause them to give up.
yeah. I mean,
Because
I think if we need to resort to nukes, which I don't think we do, it has to
no,
kill like the majority of ISIS in one
and they're
shot.
not. They can't because there's no way of knowing where they are at, and they spread themselves out.
Hmm.
And this and they're also very different from previous situations like this because unlike previous situations, they or at least like a lot of the terrorist organizations of the Middle East, they tend to be self-sacrificing. Like they don't care if they die
Hmm.
because all for the cause. So if they feel that oh well they might be killed by enemy forces, they'd rather strap themselves to a bomb and try and take as many innocent and enemy soldiers and innocent people along with them.
Right.
So they wouldn't have a problem with nuking random cities, but we as the quote unquote good guys can't because it just wouldn't look right,
Hmm.
and it would devastate the Middle East more so than Japan because, like I said, as we said, we don't know, we can't hit the majority of them by hitting this village or that village.
Right.
We'd only be getting a few at a time, and that's not the way to go.
Hmm.
You would end up turning half the majority of the Middle East into a radioactive field,
Yeah.
making the Middle East unlivable, and they'd have to quarantine it, and then that would devastate. Well, as we all know, we get a lot of our oil from the Middle East, and capitalists wouldn't want us to do that either. Not for the morality of the innocent civilians, but the fact that if they nuked too many areas, they would lose access to their oil.
Right.
So it's best for everyone if we do regular airstrikes and, if it comes to it, ground forces.
Yeah, I like my under $2 gas prices right now.
It's not under two. Oh yeah, it's under $2 for you guys.
Yeah, because we have insurance. We have better insurance because have uh we have workers who pump our gas. So
Oh yeah. Well, what was it? You know, like gas over here in Pennsylvania, gas prices jumped like 20+ cents in the course of a week.
Yeah, for us it's around 195, which is
Yeah, but
pretty
wasn't it before it was
stellar.
like one? Yeah, but wasn't it like a week or two ago? Like, wasn't it like in the like $1.70s or $1.80s?
Yeah, like $1.80. Which, I mean, still, 195 is pretty stellar.
Yeah, but for us, it jumped from like $2.10 to like $2.31
Yeah,
30 cents.
yeah, that sucks. I still think, like, the majority of states should have workers pump their gas because you lower gas prices in the long run. Which
How that happens, I never know.
it's because of insurance.
What do you mean by?
It's all about insurance because you run the risk of more accidents with people who just pump their own gas rather than people who are professionally trained to pump your gas for
Professionally
you.
trained, really?
Well, not, I mean, on some level.
There's no training to it. Everybody who has a car, who gets a car learns how to pump gas.
Well,
It's the fact that they are given a title as a gas pumper that gives some entitled right that okay, there's less insurance involved
pretty
because
much.
they don't have to have the liability insurance of somebody else pumping the gas. It's their own insurance. They have their normal insurance for employing their employer that they give to their employees or have to worry about in terms of their employees.
Yeah, I mean, because if you look at it, you're basically looking at a few people per gas station versus a infinite number of people dropping by and pumping their own gas. It's very, very risky compared to just a few people who
Mm-hmm.
understand how to pump gas and do it effectively. Just
Mm-hmm.
doing it for you. It's insurance looks at all kinds of things like that, very,
Oh yeah.
very detailed, and so that ultimately does lower the price. That's my my dad told me this a long time ago, and he really drilled it in. It was all about insurance, and it makes
Yeah.
sense when he explained it to me.
Well, I'm sure it did, but yeah. So overallly, that's the poop in terms of news. I mean, the only other thing is for us people in the northeastern area, it's getting really, really cold.
Yeah, it's been pretty damn cold.
And it's gonna get colder. What was it? I think President's Day, we're expecting with the wind chill, we're expecting it to feel like negative 25 degrees.
Jeez.
At least in the Philadelphia area. I don't know how it is down in your area,
Yeah,
in Jersey.
it really depends because where I live, which I'm like about 15 minutes from the shore.
I think yours like slightly warmer because you're of the ocean. I think.
Yes, because the ocean is not as cold as the air, but when I go to college, which is like more inland, it's like 10 degrees colder every time I drive to college. I'm like, oh God.
So wear a
So
sweater.
Yeah, I dress very warm as possible without looking like a complete idiot.
I mean, I wear my leather jacket all the time. I wear my leather jacket and my scarf. It's my signature. And if I feel warm or cold, I bundle up or I take my clothes off. Who cares?
Hmm.
okay, yeah. I mean that's what normal. That's what makes
That's
the
what
most sense.
normal people do. Does that mean you get
Yeah, that's
sent?
what normal. That's what you're supposed to do. Feel
Well,
cold, put more clothes on. Feel hot, take layers off.
and look, dude, when I'm a cop and I'm walking outside all the time, and then I walk inside a burning hot building.
But you won't be able to take it off because
Hell, I'm
you
gonna
have
be
to
wearing a
layer.
jacket, and then I can take the
You're gonna be
jacket off.
laying. Yeah, you're gonna be laying. You have to wear your police jacket on the outside, so all your layers have to be on the inside. So if like you go inside to have say lunch at a place, you you'll have you being very temperature sensitive will have so many layers on. You won't if you were to take all the layers off and then try to put them back on again, that'd be your whole lunch break.
Yeah, I am temperature sensitive. I can feel the slightest bit of a degree change. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he went from being hot to cold and back again in the course of like 10 minutes today.
I think it was faster than that, man. I think it was like 4 minutes.
I wanted to give you some credit. But I guess
There's
you
no
don't.
credit, man. I walked in like, it's fucking hot. Then I opened the window. I'm like, fuck, it's cold.
Put your coat
And
on.
then I close the window, and I'm like, fuck, it's hot. And I take my coat back off.
Oh my gosh.
It's horrible.
Because it changed from one. That's how, how the borderline. There is no in between. He's either cold or he's hot. He's not. I mean, he's still comfortable either way.
I don't know. I don't know about that, pastry. I mean, I'm always hot, if you know what I'm saying. Wink, wink.
Yeah, sure. We can't deny that.
You know you want this.
We can't deny that you're always hot. Wink, wink. I mean,
You
girls
want some
love
of
you.
this, Fidel? Wink, wink.
Um,
Yeah, you better. No, don't say You better say yeah.
no.
See,
You know what? Fuck you.
that's what
Fuck the
happens.
couch.
See that AZX. That's what happens when you cheat on your boyfriend with your roommate.
Mm.
So I guess that'll about do it for other media then.